Chapter 7. The Library with No Books.
In a remote mountain village, there stood a library that puzzled every traveler who visited it. The building was ancient, its stone walls carved with symbols so old that even historians could not decipher them. Monks tended it in silence. Pilgrims crossed continents to see it, believing it held scriptures lost to time, prophecies of the future, and maps of unseen worlds. Yet when they finally entered, they found something incomprehensible. There were no books. Shelves lined the walls, stretching upward into shadows, but they held nothing. No scrolls, no manuscripts, no tablets, just emptiness. Many visitors felt mocked, cheated. Some accused the monks of hiding the real library. Others claimed the monks were lunatics. A few stayed only minutes before leaving in frustration. But some remained. One such traveler was a young scribe named Nima. She had dedicated her life to reading sacred texts, believing wisdom could be extracted from words like gold from stone. When she arrived and saw the shelves bare, she felt betrayed. But unlike others, she could not leave. Something about the emptiness unnerved her and intrigued her. She asked the head monk, a thin elder with quiet eyes, "Where are the books, the teachings?" He replied simply, "Here." "But I see nothing," she protested. "That is because you still believe knowledge must be seen." Confused and annoyed, Nima demanded explanation. The elder began walking and she followed. He led her to a long hall filled only with cushions on the floor. People sat with eyes closed, breathing slowly. There were no lectures, no teachers, only silence. "This is the library," he told her. "The books here are the people. Their lives are the pages. Their experiences are the ink." Nima frowned. "People are unreliable. Books preserve truth." The monk shook his head. "Books preserve words, but truth is living. It breathes, evolves, adapts. What is true for one time or state may not be true for another. If truth does not move with you, it becomes dogma." He continued, "You have filled your mind with knowledge, but you have not yet learned to read life." Nima felt defensive. "I study constantly. I analyze every teaching. I dissect every idea." "That is precisely the problem," he said. "You dissect truth so much that you never absorb it." She fell silent. The elder pointed to her chest. "You seek knowledge with the mind, but understanding comes from here." He placed his hand over his heart. "Knowing is not the same as being. You know much, but you are little changed." He invited her to stay for 1 month. "During that time, you will read no text, speak no doctrine, teach no insight. You will live." Nima reluctantly agreed. The first week was agony. With no books to distract her, she confronted an unfamiliar landscape, her own inner world. Thoughts she had kept buried rose like ghosts: insecurity, impatience, fear. She realized she had used knowledge to avoid feeling. Books had been her shelter from herself. In silence, she became intimate with her own restlessness. Patterns she had never noticed emerged: her habit of judging others to feel superior, her tendency to rush, her addiction to certainty. She saw that she had not been seeking truth, but validation. By the second week, she began observing the villagers. she saw an old woman soothe a crying child with a story. She watched a farmer sing to his crops before dawn. She noticed a blind craftsman carving wood by touch, alone, with perfect precision. None of them had studied the texts she revered, yet their lives flowed with wisdom she did not possess. She began to understand. Wisdom is not found in words. It lives in the alignment between action and truth. By the third week, her mind quieted. She listened more, asked fewer questions. She found herself sitting with villagers, learning from their stories, feeling the texture of their experience. She realized that every life was a scripture, dynamic, evolving, personal. Each person was a library of truths too subtle to be written down. The elder guided her to pay attention to small things, how people responded to suffering, how they treated strangers, how they handled disappointment. These were the true teachings, not the theories in her head, but the expressions of living hearts. By the fourth week, she felt the shelves of the library differently. They were no longer empty. They were waiting. She understood. The shelves were symbolic, reminders that the greatest truths cannot be contained by pages. They must be carried in the body. Finally, Nima returned to the elder. "I came looking for books," she said, "but I found people. And through them, I found myself." The elder smiled. "When you arrived, you believed the library was empty, but it was you who was empty. Now, you have begun to fill." She asked, "Will there ever be written teachings here?" He shook his head. "Words point. Presence reveals. If we wrote the teachings, students would cling to the words instead of embodying the truth behind them." He added, "Books are valuable, but they are maps, not destinations. You have spent your life worshipping the map instead of walking the terrain." Nima bowed her head, humbled. The monk placed a blank journal in her hands. "Take this. Write only what you have lived, not what you have heard or memorized. A single line of lived truth is worth more than entire volumes of borrowed insight." She left the library changed. Her relationship to knowledge was new. She no longer collected teachings like trophies. Instead, she lived consciously, letting every interaction, every challenge, every kindness become a page in her inner book. From that day on, she sought fewer answers and practiced deeper attention. Her life became her scripture. Many people treat spirituality as information, as though enlightenment is a collection of quotes. They forget that truth must be walked, not archived. A library with empty shelves teaches this perfectly. Wisdom lives only when you do. If knowledge does not transform how you live, it is not wisdom, it is noise.
Chapter 8. The Lesson of the Closed Hand.
On the edge of a coastal village lived a healer named Runa, known not for miracles, but for clarity. People came to her when they felt stuck, caught between wanting and receiving, between longing and becoming. One day, a wealthy trader named Idris arrived. He was frustrated, restless, and bitter. Though he possessed great fortune, he felt empty. Every time he pursued love, it slipped away. Every time he chased opportunity, it collapsed. He blamed fate, God, competitors, everyone except himself. Runa welcomed him quietly and asked why he had come. "I want to know why nothing I chase stays with me," Idris replied. "I work hard. I have resources. I seek with intensity. Yet everything I desire escapes me. What am I doing wrong? Runa did not answer directly. Instead, she handed him a smooth stone and said, "Hold it." He closed his hand around it firmly. "Now," she said, "without opening your hand, pick up that seashell." She pointed to a small shell on the table. Idris tried. The stone slipped. The shell toppled. His movements became awkward. Still, he clenched the stone, refusing to let go. He grew frustrated. "This is impossible." Runa nodded. "Exactly, and yet this is how you live." He frowned. She continued, "You grasp life with a closed hand, full of fear, control, and insistence. You hold on to your beliefs, your wounds, your expectations, your demands. You grip so tightly that nothing new can enter. Your hands must be empty to receive, but you refuse to release." Idris opened his palm, irritated. "So I must give up everything to receive anything?" "No," Runa said calmly. "You must be willing to let go of what no longer serves. Release is not loss, it is space." Idris resisted. "I've worked hard for everything I have. Letting go feels like failure." Runa shook her head. Letting go is not the same as discarding. It is the willingness to stop clinging. Even a treasure becomes a burden if you refuse to outgrow it. She pointed to the sea beyond the window. When the tide comes in, it brings gifts. When it recedes, it takes. The ocean does not cling, and so it remains generous. Humans cling, and so they suffer. Idris crossed his arms defensively. "Easy for you to say. You have nothing to lose." Runa smiled. "I have lost more than you can imagine, but only by losing did I learn how to receive." She invited him to walk with her along the shoreline. As they walked, Runa told him a story. There was once a young fisherman who carried a net so full of small stones that he could barely lift it. He refused to empty it because he believed every stone might be valuable. One day, he saw a flash of silver in the water, a great fish, shimmering with scales like moonlight. It was the opportunity of a lifetime. But when he threw his net, the weight of the stones dragged it down. The net sank. The fish swam away. The fisherman blamed fate, but the truth was simple. His net was too full to catch anything new. Runa paused. "Your life is that net." Idris felt a tightness in his chest. He thought of the grudges he held, the relationships he clung to out of obligation, the beliefs he defended to avoid change. He realized he had been gripping his identity so tightly that growth had no space. Runa handed him a small bowl. "Go to the shore," she said. "Collect whatever the sea places at your feet. But when the bowl is full, empty it before gathering more." For hours, Idris obeyed. He collected shells, stones, driftwood, studying each before releasing it back to the sand. Each time he emptied the bowl, a part of him resisted. But gradually, the process felt lighter. When he returned, Runa asked, "What did you learn?" Idris replied that the value of what arrives is temporary. The bowl serves only when it is emptied. Runa nodded. "Now you are ready." She placed a single object in his bowl, a dark pearl. It seemed to glow from within. "This is what you were seeking," she said, "but it could not come to you while the bowl was full." Idris held the pearl gently. "What do I do with it?" "Nothing," she said. "Simply hold it with an open hand." If it wishes to stay, it will. If not, let it go. He asked, "What ensures it stays?" "Only alignment," she replied. "Nothing belongs to you. It stays if it grows with you." Idris left, transformed. He released business ventures that drained him. He ended relationships built on fear. He forgave old grievances. In that space, new people entered his life, people who aligned with his deeper truth. Opportunities arose not by force, but by resonance. His world expanded because his grip relaxed. Most people misunderstand surrender. They think it means weakness, passivity, or loss. In truth, surrender is the courage to trust timing. It is the wisdom to loosen your grasp so life can flow. A closed hand can only hold what it already has. An open hand can receive endlessly. Clinging comes from scarcity. Releasing comes from faith. The universe does not give to those who clutch. It gives to those who trust. The lesson of the closed hand is simple. You are not denied. You are crowded. If you feel blocked or stagnant, ask yourself, what am I unwilling to release? A belief, a relationship, a habit, a fear? The thing you cling to may be the very thing preventing growth. Nothing new can enter a life that refuses to make space.